Yo, what it do? Happy New Year's or New Year. Solo back here again. Uh, Here's my New Year's resolution. I know I was talking a little bit about it last time, talking about how I was going to try to cut back on energy drinks, drink more water. It's one thing I got to do. You're probably like, why am I looking at his phone? Yeah, no. I was going to bring the whole notepad, so I left the whole notepad at home and just took a picture of it. Um, and there's a bunch of things I got to work on. So, for one, stop being an a-hole, become a better person. Um, we got to slow down and stop speeding, cut down on the road rage, because that is no bueno for anybody. Even the people around you that have nothing to do with it, it sucks, you know? Got to improve on all that. Helping sobriety. I guess helping sobriety is more of like trying to help other people that are stuck in that funk. But like I've said before, if I'm not trying to, I'm not that dude that's saying you got to stop drinking because I stopped drinking, right? No. I actually had a problem, so for me I had to stop drinking. But if somebody else is also ready to give it up and hang up their drinking jersey, that's what I call it, and just get out of the drinking game, hang up your jersey and call it a day. I'm here to support you. So I'm down to help. I'm trying to figure out how I can make that happen. I've from what I remember and what I experienced, AA didn't work for me. The time that I tried it, it has worked for other people. So I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from going to AA, but not that I'm educated in this or whatever, but sometimes you just need somebody to talk, or somebody's video to watch or something. I guess, that's one way of helping. It's one way I can help. So yeah, stop energy drinks. Oh yeah, and improve anger management. I'm very quick to get mad about little things, and that's kind of where road rage comes into play, because I'm one of those where somebody cuts you off and I'm like, God damn it. Not to sound all crazy, but yeah, it kind of it irks me, when just using your turn signal, just being courteous is goes a long way. But there's some people out there, they don't care. Like I was saying in the other video, they feel like they're the only ones driving around on the streets on their own. Okay, so now I got both hands. Last comment was like, yo man, keep both hands on the steering wheel. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I am so used to doing stuff like that, because when I was a delivery guy, I was driving an old retired FedEx truck. It was a 1977 Chevy, no power steering. What was it? No power steering. I think it had power brakes. It was a 3-speed with a low gear. Yo, you gonna stop, man? I'm telling you, people out here in Glendale. Oh yeah, by the way, we're in Glendale, and I'm heading up to Sun Valley, which is I think slightly past Glen Oaks. It's not too far from here. You just gotta hop on the freeway. Right now it's light traffic, so we'll probably get there quick. Usually if it's rush hour, you're gonna spend at least an hour. If not, like from here, maybe a good half hour from here to where we're about to go right now. And call this the ride along, so you guys can ride along with me. I gotta get in behind this guy. Yeah, man. So like I was saying, I gotta work on my anger management, because like stuff like this, right? This is where things happen, where you're driving, you're cool, you already know where you're going, and somebody's gonna swoop in at the last minute, no turn signal, and just cut you off, and then like you honk at them or whatever, and then they get mad at you like it's your fault, or you high beam them or something, right? Because you don't want to honk, because not everybody honks. this right here. Yeah, see? That's why I prefer to use my hands. Just way easier. See, I might get into an accident like this. I'm gonna just use my hands. So like I was saying, I used to drive a manual truck. And it's, you get to, how can I say, multitask. You get pretty good at that. You get, I remember being a delivery guy, I would sometimes have the list of my stops, and I'll be scanning and eating and doing a bunch of stuff all at the same time, driving with my knee. Mainly I used to deliver down in Long Beach, Paramount, Bellflower, so it wasn't that bad. Not too much traffic out there. But and LA for the most part, like you could get away with, like I've seen, just driving and sitting in traffic, you'll see all types of stuff. I've seen people rolling blunts and joints, people drinking, of course women putting on their makeup in the morning, all types of stuff. And it's usually just because traffic's not really moving. So like it's as easy as it is to get into an accident is the same way as hard as it is, because you try to swerve into somebody, they'll dodge you real quick. I've seen that happen. But also at the same time, when you're not really paying attention, boom, something can happen real quick, and then all of a sudden you're like, damn, what happened? So yeah, what was I going? What was I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. Sorry. No cuts, no edits. Long form format, I guess you can call this. But yeah, so like even before being a delivery driver, I used to I was already driving manual. I don't know, ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to drive, a manual transmission car. I wasn't all about the automatic. Now I'm used to it. But yeah, when you're just sitting in traffic, like I've noticed with an automatic car, you're not really paying as much attention. You're just kind of like, oh yeah, gas, brake. But with a manual, you always have to put it in gear. You have to make sure your revs are up so you don't stall out. Or if you're driving, you're trying to pass somebody, you're gonna downshift or whatever. It just makes you a little bit more vigilant. That's what I've noticed. But with I guess speeding, right? I'm gonna try to, I guess, help myself out by not speeding, by hanging out in these lanes, the exiting and the truck lane. Because like I've noticed, if I hang out in the fast lane or the carpool, yeah, it's easy to just start speeding. And that's usually where you have, like, depending on what freeway, because this is one of those freeways where, like, right now it's flowing and it's pretty cool, but there are patches of where there's like speeders, because like you'll have like an open spot and boom, you just smash out, right? Like there's a few twists and turns right here. It's not too bad. But yeah, in some pockets of the 5, see, like she's gonna cut over right. Yep. That's one thing I've noticed. If you just kind of hang back, you can kind of predict people's moves as to whether they're gonna cut left or right, or what their next move is. I guess that's part of the whole defensive driving. I've noticed that here in LA, it doesn't matter whether it's raining or if it's dry. If somebody drives fast and hit the brakes at the last minute, there's that kind of driver. That's the same type of driver they're going to be when it's raining. Usually that's how people spin out. Here in LA, one of the biggest things is, like, if you're on the fast lane or in the carpool lane and the water just accumulates on the side right here, and you don't, it's not your fault, but like if it's not draining right and you just happen to come by and your left side of your car catches that, it will just fling you straight into the wall. Either that or hydroplane. Dude, that dude's flying. He's missing his bumper. He's trying to get away from somebody. Did he clip somebody? Imagine. That's what I'm talking about. Before, when I was younger, I used to be the dude that I would see like two cars playing. That's who was probably racing. And I would be like, oh, I want to play too, and just jump into the mix. But not anymore. And I guess that goes back to being a delivery driver, because that was the first time when I remember driving a 26-foot truck and knowing that like if you can't stop it, you're gonna like take something out. Because that's the thing with something that's too heavy or something that's very heavy, it doesn't have to move that fast to cause a lot of damage. You know, there's just so much weight behind it that, you know, if you hit something, you're pretty much, whatever you're hitting is getting damaged. Like, not so much your vehicle, but also when you're driving for other companies and stuff, even if it's not your fault and you get hit, like you get rear-ended or something, or something just happens to your truck, you know, say you happen to be getting lunch and somebody comes and side swipes your mirror or whatever, you might have to go in for a drug test, even if it's not your fault, just because of, you know, company property. The insurance company wants to make sure that you weren't under the influence of anything when it happened. You know, like, they want to make sure they're all covered before, you know, they make sure that you're okay. So, word of advice, because I see a lot of, like, this dude's chilling, he's cool, but I'll see truckers just riding up on people's bumpers. And I get it, like, sometimes in traffic, you know, they'll get cut off real bad. Like, some people are a-hole drivers too, man. Like, that's one of the things, like, I guess I've learned from before, that's kind of one of the things I try not to do, is cut off the big rigs or wait until the last minute to switch lanes. I kind of like carry on my own pace, but I also don't like people riding my bumper. There's nobody riding my bumper right now, but like, you know, there's just some people that are even though there's nowhere to go, they're still trying to push you out of the way. It doesn't make it any easier or safer or better, because I've noticed, like, with those drivers, sometimes they're not good drivers. Like, if you're just cutting and zigzagging and you're gone, and you know, that's one driver, but then you have the other guy that's just rubbing up on the other person's bumper, and then there's 3 other lanes open. They finally switch over, and then you catch up to them by the time they hit traffic, and it's like you did all that fussing and bussing for nothing. Like, you ended up in the same spot where I'm at. So, yeah, you know, now that I said a-hole, back to my New Year's resolution. I guess overall, I just want to become a better person and not be. I was watching this Peter Santinello podcast interview. He was talking about how he doesn't want to be an angry 40-year-old man. He's I guess 45 now, but I'm breaking 40 this year, so. You know, I don't really feel like midlife crisis. I remember laughing about that when I was younger. Midlife crisis, what is that? You have to get a Corvette? Like, you know, but as I've gotten older, there's a lot of things that, you know, aren't that big of a deal to me. Like, that they used to be a big deal. Like, I guess I can understand how some of the new generation find like Andrew Tate to be a role model and stuff like that, which, you know, to me, I think the best thing you can do is be a chill person, respect everybody the same way you want to be respected. Don't like walk around with a chip on your shoulder or walk around arrogantly, like, you know, like if you know everything, because like Bill Nye said a long time ago, every person that you meet is going to know something that you don't know, regardless of what it is, whether it's a hack, a life hack, something, you know, or just how something worked behind the scenes. Like, there's a ton of knowledge that some people know that, you know, most of the time you would never know because it never comes up in conversation. But, you know, some people just have different skills that are, you know, not that they're taken for granted, but, you know, they just, you don't think of them as skills, I guess. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes underappreciated, but, you know, just being, like, I heard one person say, I try to treat everybody like if they're my uncle, my father, my sister, brother, like if they're a family member, like not just somebody down the street, somebody walking on the street, somebody that might need your help, somebody that might need a jump start or something. Um, I honestly, that's one thing I got to change, because I've been one of those where, like, how can I say? I'm very short tempered. So, like, I can, I have a big threshold, but at the same time, like, once I pop, I explode. So that's how I kind of came up with this channel where I'm just like, I'm gonna just start venting and ranting and like whatever's, But yeah, I guess I have changed a lot, because over time, like, I grew up during the time when like stereotypes and all that type of stuff was like normal. It was cool. It wasn't a big deal. So, back then it was almost like all these stereotypes and different, I guess, prejudicial things, you could say, or if that's even a term, were, how can I say, we're kind of accepted. So like now, a lot of people, and not everybody, but some people do a better job of like getting rid of that old-timey way of thinking, which, like, for me, I feel that same way, where there's a lot of knots in my hair, and I'm able to untangle all these tangles that have been knotting up my hair for so long, and I'm having a clear way of thinking. And it's super cool, like, to not be all uptight about everything. One thing I've noticed is, like, when I've been to NASCAR race out there in Fontana, is like sometimes just being somewhere and being like approachable. A lot of people kind of want to reach out and just kind of just talk, just to kind of like feel you out, see what you're about. And yeah, that goes back to the whole thing. Don't judge a book by its cover, because that's one of those things that I used to do before, and now I know for damn sure, like, when, and it's not always racial. Sometimes, like, a girl tells you, like, oh yeah, I play drums, and you're like, yeah, sure, I want to see you play drums. And then, like, yeah, she is badass. You're like, damn, okay, like, she puts you to shame. So now I don't know, I wait. I don't even say that I play drums or nothing. I'm like, I don't honestly, I'm not a drummer, but I could hold the beat. But at the same time, that's the thing, there's some people that just because, like, almost as if you're supposed to be predisposed to be able to be good at everything just because you think it. I guess I've seen a lot of people like that just because they think it, that they're good in their own head, that they're actually good at it when they're not. But yeah, but that comes with that whole arrogance thing. Like, another thing that I've changed is I've tried being more, I guess you could say, in touch with nature, but not just like plants and grass and all that stuff, but like animals and stuff like that. I remember when the pandemic hit, wildlife was around, and I was like, man, this is cool. Like, it would be nicer if it was more wildlife like this, out and about, just because they don't really cause any problems, like squirrels and stuff like that. It's no big deal. Like, out here, I mean, it's a whole different scenery, and we're not that far from LA. Like, we still get the light pollution out here from LA. But yeah, see, this is a whole nother area. This is a little bit more I guess I wouldn't call it country ranchy, but you gotta do it on a horse. It's Sun Valley, so like it's on the outskirts of Burbank. It's super chill out here. It's quiet. It's a whole different crowd. You'll see some Trump 2020 flags still flying around here. But yeah, everywhere you go, you'll run into different people. But like, you notice at the end of the day, everybody's just kind of like, we have more in common than we don't have in common. Like, that's the one thing I've always noticed, and which is why I've even with animals and getting back to the whole nature thing, there's so many things in common that we have, like even food, the way we eat. Like squirrels, you seen them eat? They eat with their hands. Like it's cool. I mean, it's not a big wow, right? But it's pretty cool when you take a second just to like watch and examine Stonehurst Historic District. So yeah, so we're in Stonehurst, and you know, going back to the more things we have in common, it's like this whole balance of not being arrogant but being humble. Like between that balance, I've noticed that there's a somewhat like peace, I guess you could say. Because before I would always, you know, if it was something like trees, right? Like with climate change and all that, I'm like, oh, whatever, you know, who cares about that old tree or whatever. But then finding out that like places in like the Amazon are getting deforested and all that stuff, like, you know, things can go bad real quick. And, you know, climate change, I saw that San Francisco was flooding. That's not cool. Well, not San Francisco, but up in the Bay Area, like Highway 99, it got hit with a flash flood. A lot of people got stuck in there. They had to get rescued out. Climate change is real, and we got to find out one way or another how we can all like help out, you know, whether it's you know, not driving as much. I might start doing videos where I just stay home because gas is so much and I don't want to pollute the environment as well. I only try to drive if I need to. But I think on that note, I'm gonna leave it here. Well, let me pull over right here before I cut this video out. Just giving you guys a look at different places that you probably usually don't see on video. I know I'm going around in circles as far as me just talking, but I guess my main thing is I want to help people and I don't know how. So, but this year I'm gonna figure it out one way or another. If it's just driving around like this, driving around with the homie Hayes right here. What's up, dude? And just speaking, you know, if that's something that helps anybody out there, leave it in the comments. Sorry, I'm not so polished. I'm still trying to find direction as far as thoughts and how this channel is gonna go, but little by little, I guess one thing I can say is I guess I have direction. I know what road I'm taking, but I don't know how to get there yet. So I guess on that note, to the next video. Peace outside.